Carl Blisking.
Here.
Kevin McCabe.
Here.
William Ross.
Here.
Robert Cliff.
Here.
Scott Bridges.
Here.
Clifford Scott.
Here.
Jason Krempa.
Here.
Mary Lynn Candela is excused.
Okay, thank you. Introduction of the guests. 3.0.
Good to see you.
Mark Johnson.
Sure. Mark Gabriel, Agency Counsel.
Andrea Pfeiffer, agency staff.
Mike Dudley, agency staff.
Gary Crusoe, agency staff. Sue Barone, agency staff.
Thing from Business First.
Anybody else? What's that?
Is there anyone on the line that are joining us today?
Yes, Wayne from Niagara Industrial and Mechanical and Erica with Niagara Industrial and Mechanical.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Jonathan Epstein with the Buffalo News.
Anybody else? All right, thank you. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. Jason,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
5.0, approval of the meeting minutes from the September 8th board meeting and the September 29th special meeting.
So moved.
Need a second. Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 6.0, Finance and Audit Committee. Kevin, you want Bill to do that again?
Please.
Okay. Bill?
I find the agency payables in order and ready to be paid. I need a motion on that. I have a motion by Mr. Bridges, second by Mr. McKay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The budget variance report, 6/2, of September 30th, 2021. Again, Mr. McCabe and I find it in order and ready to be approved. Need a motion on it? Motion by Mr. Bridges, second by Mr. McCabe. Any questions on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the proposed budget. Again, can I take this just on proposed budgets,
Just one resolution would be fine.
All right, again, on the 2022 proposed budgets, I have a motion on the floor, approval by Mr. Bridges, second by Mr. McKay. Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Gabriel.
Yeah, just for that last motion, just to clarify again for the board and for the record that the motion was to send these proposed budgets to the county for their 20-day review. Once that 20-day review process is complete, these budgets will be again presented here to the board for final acceptance. That would be after the county had their opportunity to review, which is required.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Ross.
7.1. 7.1.
Yes, thank you. 7.1, Metropolis Properties Management LLC is a project in the city of Niagara Falls that was undertaken and approved and closed by this agency probably around the end of 2018, didn't close until sometime in 2019, I believe. Unfortunately, it has not progressed at all since the date of closing. We have not received, obviously, any information or forms in respect to the jobs created, because there has been no jobs at this particular time, because it hasn't gone forward. We've had, and I know Sue has been in contact over the last year plus with the representative of the owner of this project, who originally said that it looked like it wasn't going forward, and then recently said it was going forward, but they're looking at various options. The problem here is that there remain some unpaid pilots during this process. So I just wanted to, come to the board today and let you know the status of this and ask for direction. At this particular time, you know, I would need to start my process for termination of that particular pilot based on the non-payment of pilot payments. We don't even have to go into the fact that it hasn't been completed yet in the time. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer. If not, I just ask for, I don't need a formal motion, I just need a direction and approval to move
So you
forward.
don't think there's any hope with this going forward?
No, I don't, but it's possible, but the problem is, the reason why we're moving forward here is they have not abided by our terms of our lease back in pilot, and they have not made their pilot payments right now. Mike, what are they down approximately? We've just been notified that tax jurisdictions not too long ago.
And then you'll go forward and collect.
Okay. But all over a year or two period, but all three tax jurisdictions, correct?
Yes.
So we think it's appropriate to move forward right now
To
in
go.
determination
Yeah.
of this project.
Anybody opposed to that? Any
Where is
questions?
this property? Where?
It's 4th Street, it's the old St. Mary's, I believe, building. The project was by, Chinese investor, and the hope was to actually bring Chinese tourism, a place to stay as a resort near the falls going forward. We obviously were quite cognizant of the fact that, due to COVID, that type of project certainly wouldn't have a very good chance at this particular time. But at the same time, we understand, and we could probably work with them if they're planning on going forward, but we can't work with a company that's not making the pilot payments.
So I'm assuming they're behind on their city taxes too?
All three tax jurisdictions. Not a massive amount of money per se, because it's not assessed very high, but nevertheless, it doesn't really matter in our eyes. The bottom line is you have an obligation, and you agreed to make, payments as per our agreement, and you haven't done it at this point.
Was there contact from them at all?
Yeah, Sue's had quite a bit of contact with their representative here, and originally I sent out, we thought it was just done, and they asked me to send out termination documents, which were prepared 6-8 months ago, and then it fell off the face of the earth, and then they came back and said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll try to get back, and then Sue's had just the most recent saying, we'll contact you, we're not sure if we're going to terminate it or move forward, and in fact, I had contact from an outside company that thought they were gonna try to step into the shoes and buy this property, but, you know, we've worked with them for the last year. Sue has worked with them for at least a year trying to help get this through the process, but at this point, obviously, the fact that it made it to our agenda, I think, shows our
Yeah.
frustration.
In addition to the unpaid pilots, it's, at this point, probably the project will have changed such that it's not the same as it was 3 years ago, so it would behoove us to take a new application and look at it fresh, cost-wise and everything, so.
So does this then revert back to the taxing jurisdictions to like begin foreclosure, begin tax foreclosure?
If they choose to.
If they so choose to?
They cannot do a tax foreclosure on the pilots, but what we have done, and what this board has done, and what we've been doing for a number of years, is we have a pilot mortgage.
Okay.
So they can foreclose on and enforce the pilot mortgage, which gives them, superior position over any other mortgage and or any other unsecured debt. And that would be up to each of the taxing jurisdictions to do on their own, because it runs to their benefit.
Did you say, Mark, there's somebody else interested in this, a follow-up on that?
Well, I had a contact from an attorney probably 8 months ago that was looking into it and thought, and we went and that's where Sue's comment came from, that thought was assuming, or think about assuming it, but the project would be so different, we thought it would be, and it was already 2 years in, it would make much more sense to start fresh and come back to our agency. But that, I never heard back anymore from there. And then just recently, they were talking about, well, we're not sure if we're gonna work with someone or transfer it. But, you know, at what point, I guess this was the point we deemed that, okay, we just have to take one action one way or another, and hope, we'd love for it to go forward, but you gotta pay the pilots.
Not to belabor the point, have you guys been in the property, this structure?
No,
Not at all?
no.
I think Bill Ross was born there, but it's not just.
Bill, would you mind giving us a quick history of that building?
What, Old St. Mary's Hospital?
There it is.
Simpson, Ferry, I was born there. You know, it is sad, because when they came in, I thought this was a good project with them. Really, if they followed through on what they were doing, it would have really helped that neighborhood down there.
Absolutely.
You're very familiar with it.
This has been
And
on.
things like that, so it was a disappointment.
Oh, yeah, this is right down the street from mine.
Yeah.
This has been on, no taxes have been paid on this property now.
We're for about a year and a half, 2 years. But again, you're talking a total for, I think, school, county, I mean, this is how low the assessed value is. You're looking at $10,000 total over the 2-year period. So it's not a massive amount of money, but that's not the point. They haven't done what they promised to do. So if I could have any kind of direction,
So,
I suggest you go forward.
Okay.
Anybody opposed to that?
I will start putting them on notice and that they're in the fall. We'll follow the process built into our lease package. Thank you.
Great. All right, 8.1, Duncan Seating and Cooling Corporation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Duncan Seating and Cooling Corporation, they are seeking to construct a 4,500 square foot addition for manufacturing and fabrication space. As a result of this expansion, they expect to hire at least 9 additional individuals. Duncan Heating and Cooling has been a longtime partner of WorkSource One in Niagara County. I spoke with Mr. Splonsky last week and had a long conversation about the successful partnership they've had. They do a lot with, when they hire, making sure that these employees have extensive training and receive certain certifications. And I just wanted to highlight that. On the line is Mr. Duncan, and I believe Erica Duncan as well, if you board has any questions.
Any questions?
Just for the board's information, again, there is an existing facility there that will not be subject to the pilot benefits. It'll be the addition only, and they will have a separate pilot based upon just the addition.
Any questions? Comments?
no, so moved.
I have a motion on the floor. So Scott, motion, do I have a second? Jerry. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You need a roll call vote.
Mr. Wolfgang? Mr. McCabe? Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krumpa?
Yes.
Mr. Onesi?
Yes. We need a motion to authorize a public hearing date. Do we have a date yet?
Not yet.
Oh,
Mr. Krumpa, I have a second.
Second.
Cliff? Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Just opposed, that's all.
Hey, folks, this is, Dwayne Duncan, if I may. We have already, put a substantial deposit on a $175,000, water jet, and, they're asking for our tax exemption number. My attorney probably will turn this over pretty quick on the legal end. I have issue with him. Is there, because we've already thought to have a building built, we've already got the concrete in, so we've kind of moved a little forward because we want to get all this done in this calendar year. Is there any way this all can come to fruition before the end of the year?
If I might respond. If this is approved in our November 13th meeting, I will be able to prepare, and in the meantime, between now and then, I can prepare all closing documents for your council's review, and we could close this project the day after the board if the board approves it on the, what would be the 13th of November? What's the date? And then, so we could close this anytime after the 10th, assuming that the board approves your project.
Well, okay, a few things she did not, she didn't mention. I want to tell you more about ourselves. We're almost a $5 million a year operation. We started as a small heating and cooling company. Now, we build most of the medical machines for Pfizer that go out in the world, okay? So we have advanced our technological skills to that level. We've done that through extensive training. We are also, every major manufacturing company out there. Everyone you'd be familiar with, Cascades, Greenpack, 3M, let's see, there's 3M, and then there's in the area. I'm trying to think of all the other companies, but we have a ton of them. So, anyways, so I'm sorry, I just got interrupted by my wife and children. So anyways, I wanted to tell you guys that I would love for someone to review, and I think most people already have, but we already are involved in some kind of program where we train people. So we hire based on attitude, not ability, because ability we can teach you. We have certified weld inspectors who work for us. We've sent them off to school, invested the $40,000 to get them educated in order to do this. We've spent extensive money on our office personnel being trained at $300 an hour to run CNC machines. So the new thing is basically for our CNC operation to get a little more technical and a little more advanced in parts manufacturing. So, and we have seen extensive growth in our company. Again, I don't know if I mentioned, but the average salary of our employees is $57,000 a year. Plus, we pay 100% of medical, which family medical, we're on a gold plan, is for our office employees is somewhere around $1,900 per month. We pay 50% match on 401k. So we're well versed to compete with the biggest and the best companies out there. That's why we attract some of the better talent. And even if they're not, I can take any guy with a good attitude and bring him to the level where he can weld in the medical industry.
That's awesome.
So that's what we have moving forward. That's why we need this building. We need a clean building to do clean work. In other words, stainless steel work for the medical industry.
Thank you for
Well,
that.
thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one. We'll let you know. I will be in contact with you or your council within the next day or two.
Yes.
Thank you.
very
Have a
much.
good
Okay, for the record, it's Joe Leone, and he's a great guy, so he's very responsive. Reach out to me and him as well, and I will see to it that Joe gets right on it for us.
Sounds good. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
sir.
Take care.
Okay, are we done?
You're done.
Yep, you're all set. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
8.2, Penn LLC, Andrea?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
LLC is proposing the build out of a full-service travel center on 3 vacant parcels of land in the town of Niagara. It's an 8-acre site that will have food accommodations for travelers and offer a service area as well as a wait station. PEM LLC will be servicing tourist buses and host tourism materials to promote our local attractions. And their primary consumer group is the tourism and distribution network. Mark, did you have something to add to this?
Yeah, and thank you. Obviously, this would be deemed a retail project, and there are actually 3 separate possible ways the agency can be involved in this, all of which might actually be applicable, but what we're going to handle it as, it's quite easy to determine that a significant amount of visitors to the property will be from outside our immediate area, hence, the tourist bus, the truckers, et cetera, going forward. There's actually 2 similar projects to this that have been approved and gone forward in, I believe, Allegheny County and Monroe County too. So we're going to handle it as a tourism, even though pre-pandemic, this would have also applied and fallen under our distressed area, as well as because of the numbers, and then it would also probably be unique, so, because I cannot remember I don't think any of us can remember a truck stop travel center, in Niagara County, so it would be unique. But we're gonna handle this easily as as a travel center, where a significant amount of the users of this facility from outside the immediate 75-mile radius, which is dictated by statute. So I just want to let you know that's how we're going forward with this project.
Mr. Tergnelli is here to address the board's questions, should they have any.
Morning, everyone. You have a comment before we ask questions?
Sure. My name is Lou Terranelli, and I'm Director of Real Estate and Development for PEM and our DBA, which is for Quickly's Convenience Stores. We are headquartered in Avon, New York. PEM is a family-owned business, currently has 21 convenience stores with fuel and 2 travel centers, as we just mentioned, one in Avon, New York, one in Belmont, New York. I'm very excited to be here to talk about this project and answer any questions you have. I'm a lifelong Greater Buffalo resident. I currently live in Clarence and school here. We graduated from Canisius and a member of Leadership Buffalo. So being able to present and be a part of the project kind of in my home area is exciting for me. I'm very excited to be with Quickly. We run first-class operations. I know without a shadow of a doubt you'll be thrilled with this facility, with both by the way it looks, its appearance, the quality of the materials, and the way the travel center will be run on the interior. We will be offering services for both, say, a typical convenience store customers, but as we said, our reach is going to be for those that are outside the area, especially the trucker and the bus community. We will have specific services and areas that will be catering to the truckers and the bus drivers, especially with all the visitors coming to Niagara Falls, with the bus drivers, looking for a place to be while they dropped off their customers. We're going to have whole areas dedicated for them. They could have their buses clean, they could get a meal, they could relax, have a shower, if they want to do that. So it's quite an exciting project that'll bring to the region and be a great benefit and asset in my view.
Where's that located on Porter Road? Is it going to be west of Military Road and Porter Road?
So, okay, so Porter Road, it would be west on Military, so if you're.
By Aldi's over
yes,
there?
Yes, it'd be in between the Aldi's and the
That's
Valley.
where you are.
So the 3 parcels will make up 8 acres.
Yeah,
And-
great location.
Yes, thank you. And the access to the site will be through the existing curb cuts. So we won't be asking for any different access than what's there right now. And traffic will be both on the border and back, in between those 2 buildings.
They're right off 190. You're only a couple of football fields from 190 coming
Correct.
off that.
And that was one of the attractions
Yeah,
being to the site.
sure was.
For the trucker community.
So you guys are looking to spend $8.5 million on a newly constructed facility.
Yes, sir.
And I think everybody in the room, the private sector generally drives the train in economic development, stock government. So, give us some insight into how you feel like you're going to realize a rate of return on this $8.5 million investment in this community, in a COVID environment.
Yes, sir. Fair question. Yes, and that is our estimate for the total construction cost. About 20% of that is the land cost, so it's an expensive piece of ground, for sure. Our estimates are based on both the diesel and what's called the consumer fuel sales, in addition to what would be realized on sales on the inside of the building with that trucker community that's not only going to be gassing up with the diesel, but coming in and using all the services. We're confident in our model. As I said, and it's been talked about, the Avon and the Allegheny facility, we are modeling those for this type of facility. So we're confident that there will be a fair rate of return. Obviously, we're doing projections, but we're confident in our projections.
How much is the Canadian market going, that traffic gonna help with your bottom line?
We think significantly, because that trucker community coming over the border, as I said, there's no place really in all of western New York for them to stop in a facility like this and then getting them in, let's call it as they get right over the bridge and into Niagara, County, where they can then gas up, and if they need to have any of the other services.
Shower,
would be there, yeah, all that, yes, yes, sir.
Truckers have to maintain so many hours on the road. Traffic coming from Canada then might be looking for a place to stop.
Correct.
As well as people going to Canada.
That is correct. That is correct. So not only will they have the ability to, as I mentioned, have fuel up their vehicles, but there'll be places for them within the building if they want to relax or, you know, have some downtime. And as I said, the interior of the building, and we're designing it now, but if you'd like pictures of what Avon and Allegheny looks like, it's a first-class facility. You know, we'd be very happy with it.
You know, it's fascinating, if a private sector entity's gonna spend $8.5 million, invest $8.5 million in this area, you gotta think that there's some growth potential. You got to. That's a huge investment for this community.
Any other questions? Comments? Do we need a motion for the preliminary resolution? Mr. Crumpler, and Mr. Bridges, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We need a roll call vote.
Yes, please.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Mr. McCabe?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Crumpa?
Yes.
Mr. Onesi?
Yes. Motion carries. 8.22, authorized public hearing date, we need a motion for that.
So moved.
Okay, and Mr. Bridges, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Grand opening, we need a date. Grand opening?
We would like to be in the ground in the spring, all goes well, so prior to Labor Day next year, 2022.
Good luck with this project. Thank you. All right, 8.3, Covanta Holding Corporation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On your agenda today is the Covanta Holding Corporation request for an amendment to the indenture of trust. As you could probably read through the Covanta line and our draft amending resolution, we had previously entered into a tax-exempt bond issue with the company a number of years ago. The only reason it's before you today is Covanta is merged. The original company is merging in with a second, another company for purposes of all their holdings all throughout the globe. And what's going on is, because of the merger, language within the bond deal, the bond structure, indenture itself, triggers what would be a buyout to the bondholders, meaning the bondholders would have to be paid in full upon such a merger. What Covanta is asking us is twofold. They're going to each of the bondholders, which we're not one, we're just an issuer, we're the issuer, and asking them for consent to keep the existing bonds in place. That's literally all this is. They're asking the bondholders to consent to that. If they get over 50% consent from the bondholders, then they can move forward, and the only item that would remain for each of the issuers, and we're just one of a number of issuers, there's issuers in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, all over, that we consent to the change of the language, which allows this a merger with the new company and allows the extension of the existing bond terms. So that is before you today. It's not a major thing. It's basically a consent to keep the bonds continuing while this merger takes place and pending the approval by the bondholders. So all I would need would be a resolution in such a way, and then we'll be on our way with this particular matter.
Any questions before we? I need a motion then for the amendment to go through. Mr. Clempo. Second, Mr. Cliff. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You need a roll call vote. We have a roll call vote.
We do, if you don't mind, please.
Mr. Mr. Wolfgang? Mr. McCabe?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krumpa?
Yes.
Mr. Onesi?
Yes. Okay, 8.4, CDBG, CARES grant, Andrea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, the Niagara County IDA staff applied for, CARES funding through the New York State Office of Community Renewal, on behalf of Niagara County. We have an administrative services agreement between the county and the NCDC. I think as Mr. Dudley mentioned earlier, that NCDC that administers the funding, because the IDA, cannot. And they do this on behalf of the county. So we were fortunate enough to receive $1.7 million in funding. $1 million of that will be for small businesses that were negatively affected through COVID, and the other $766,000 will be going for the expansion of broadband throughout Niagara County. What we need from the board is the approval for Ms. Langdon to sign the award acceptance agreement. And I guess one other thing I wanted to point out to the board that I think is important to mention, and you probably already know this, we have, less staff than we had previously, and we're administering more grants than we have. And a large part of that is because since Sue Barone's been on staff, she's really streamlined a lot of these processes. She's, working on having application approval, underwriting, all done online. She's made all of our files electronic, so when Terry's looking to process checks, she's not reading through filing cabinets. So I just wanted to acknowledge her hard work, and that's why we've been able to do a lot more with less.
So we're asking for Sue to sign off on $1,700,000. You're gonna line your pockets?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can sign it too.
I can sign it too. We need a motion to approve, Mr. Scott. We need a second. Mr. Krumpa, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We need a roll call vote. That's important.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Mr. McCabe?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krumpa?
Yes.
Mr. Onesi?
Yes. Motion carries, thank you. Let's see, 8.5, Center for Cataract Fund.
Yes, I'll take that, thank you. As you recall, under the Cataract Fund, we've previously approved a cataract grant for the Center for Cashmere Inc. We have had contact from the company requesting that their completion date of February 22 be extended to, I believe, the end of August 23. That they have had some difficulties due to COVID in moving forward with this project. Expect to go forward with the project, however, are requesting this additional time. This is also part of a IDA project called LSNY, which was previously approved by this board about a year or so ago. So it goes hand in hand. We've closed that already. They expect it to go forward. However, because of COVID and some of the construction issues, they are asking this board for an extension through the end of August. A 1-year extension, but then we give 6 months, so it would be technically through the end of August of 2023. Yes, ma'am.
No, I just gonna make a motion.
Okay, absolutely.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Ross, do we have a second? Mr. Bridges, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We need a roll call vote on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Wolfgang? Mr. McCabe?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krumpa?
Yes.
Mr. Onesi?
Yes. 8.6, craft coffee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So our last allocation of microenterprise funding, there was one grant that, the project didn't move forward. So we reallocated the funding. It was about $10,000. We reallocated about $8,000 and change to to administrative costs. And then we had an outstanding, balance of $3,610 that we needed to either return to the state or, well, not draw down, I should say, from the state, or allocate to a company. And Craft Coffee had reached out to us, they were doing another expansion, so it made sense, in our minds, to increase their initial grant from $25,000, to, well, $28,610. So we were just asking that the board approve the additional $3,610 to, Craft Coffee.
Does that bring them to the
Yeah.
highest amount?
Well, you're allowed to, the highest amount is 30,000, so we're still below that threshold.
Alright. Any questions?
Is that one located on Campbellville Park?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, with such a small amount, we didn't wanna like
No,
go back out and
no.
publicize
And
it.
I see that you do
And we didn't
pretty
wanna
well.
return, we didn't wanna not use it for the state either, so it made sense.
Okay. Ms. Wolfgang, we have a second. Mr. Scott, all in favor? Any opposed?
Roll call.
Roll call vote.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Mr. McCabe?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krumpa?
Yes.
Mr. Onetzi?
Yes. 8.7, DRC development.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. DRC Development is a project here in our industrial park here, by David Chamberlain's group. It's been ongoing for a number of years and has had no issues. In fact, it's had some wonderful growth. We are not changing the project. We're not doing anything with the project. However, built into our documents is if there is a change of ownership of 50% or more, they need the consent of our agency. In this particular case, it's an LLC, limited liability corporation, so instead of shares, they're units. What they're attempting to do, what the company owner is attempting to do as an estate planning issue, is to transfer the units that he owns to a trust for the benefit of, I believe, his wife or certain family members. So it appears to be an estate planning tool, which is going on at this particular time, which really doesn't affect the project, doesn't affect the obligations. It's just a formal consent that's required for our board to go forward. So I'm asking if you could, that we consent to the transfer of the ownership units of DRC Chamberlain.
Any questions? Mr. Wolfgang, we have a second. Mr. Krumpa, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Need a roll call vote.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Mr. McCabe?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krumpa?
Yes.
Mr. Onetzi?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Well, while Mark's out of the room, do we have any, business anybody wants to discuss, any questions? Andrew, you want to go to 10.0?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just an informational item for the board, just notifying the board that we're preparing 2 RFPs, one for the general consulting services for the NCIDA. That's for a consultant to help us, assist us with like underwriting of any loans that we may issue or review, accept. And the second one is for the NCDC, and that one, the state mandates that we have an RFP when we are dealing with money coming from the New York State Office of Community Renewal. So it'll be to cover the individual projects that we do through applying to OCR for our microenterprise funding and our CARES Act funding, all through the Office of Community Renewal with the state.
General consulting services, where they come from?
Well, we drafted the RFP and we have it over to council for review, and then we'll put it up in the contract, the New York State contract reporter.
Great. We need a motion for the general consulting?
We have, I think, we haven't gotten an overwhelming response in the past. I don't know if that'll change. I think we do this every 3 years.
Any other questions? We need a motion?
No.
No.
Informed.
We need a roll call vote on this?
No, I was just informing the board.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I guess Mark doesn't have anything else to report or do or whatever, so I make a motion that we adjourn. The next meeting is November 10th, and clock here. Motion.
So moved.
Mr. Wolfgang,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Cliff, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to adjourning? All right, thank you.
Okay, have a good day, Kevin.
See you next month.
So we're gonna get $1 million.